Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy. And we're going to shuffle out these cards. We're going to get some cards out of the Intuit deck. And at the end, we're going to ask what could be a potential outcome that people might not see coming, depending on if they harness a more high vibrational Pisces energy or a more shadowy Pisces energy. We all tap into Pisces energy. People that are a Pisces sun sign or have a lot of Pisces in their chart, it might be affecting them more. Pisces is emotional water sign energy. But we all have lessons to learn in life. We can all be more immature emotionally. Some people are more mature than other people. Some people are more self-indulgent than some other people. Some people are all about themselves. Some people are more really caught up in the world and their ego and their image and indulgence, money and materialism. Other people have learned to put those things in perspective. High vibe energy is about being more independent. I do have these things in the world. We all want some stability, some security, enjoy some of the finer things in life. We all have our more immature, self-centered, shadowy nature. Other people have learned they need to temper their ego nature, or, it might be hard to find people to stay in a relationship with them. And so they've kind of healed and grown and matured and become more independent of their immature nature. And they're just more independent in the world. Some people aren't very independent in the world. And it has to do with what we find emotionally fulfilling and the dreams that we have for our life. And we come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. And so in our own Pisces energy, we meet other people, and do we have the same goals, dreams, ambitions, motivations, or don't we? And the truth sets us free. So for the Intuit deck, we have a card not showing itself. The reason it came out is because take a walk in nature today and consciously connect with Mother Nature. Community. Since shadowy Pisces can be about emotionally indulging yourself, some people don't really want to work. You could look at the community card as like a Three of Pentacles card, working together with people cooperatively. Some people try to present themselves as that type of person, but that's not really their thing. They might just kind of be more about indulging themselves. Other people do want to work cooperatively with other people. There might be people who might want to indulge in a relationship with them and they don't realize, that they do want to be in more emotionally balanced, loving relationships. And other people who are more about indulging themselves might think other people just want to indulge themselves in the world. I look at this card as the overarching reason for the reading, and it's the Magician card, which is Gemini Virgo energy. Gemini has to do with our dualistic nature and what our truth is. Are we more about love? Are we more about ourselves or the world? And Virgo energy, we'll invest our time, energy, and effort into whatever is our truth. And sometimes we can be in relationships or friendships with people for a long time till we realize that our truth is different. So the first card that came out is the High Priestess, which is Pisces Cancer energy, two water sign energies. It's kind of like how we use our intuition. Some people use their intuition in a shadowy way. Who can I indulge in a relationship with? Who do I think maybe is more ego-focused, materialistic-focused, immature? To a degree, we all use our intuition to try to find people that we think are kind of on the same page as us. But high vibe people want to be in relationships with people who have learned some of the same lessons as they have, motivated by the same things they are. Shadowy people could just be trying to find someone to get in a relationship with that will indulge them in their poor behavior. They should be trying to get in relationships with people who view life the same way they do, but if they're kind of immature, self-indulgent, prideful, egotistical, manipulative, they don't really want to be in a relationship with someone like them, then they could try to get in a relationship with someone who is more loving, hopeful, and believing and has learned more lessons than them, because that's a great relationship to be in and they want to indulge themselves in it. So some people are connected with their emotions and intuition, and they're using that and their emotions and all those things in a high vibe way. Other people use their intuition in a shadowy way. And that one came in the middle of the deck, and I didn't get a card to clarify that. But we'll continue on. We have the Seven of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Two of Cups. And the reason that came out is because of the Ten of Cups, which is Pisces energy. Everybody has their idea, wanting to probably look victorious and successful in the world in some way. Some people, the Hierophant, can be more about ego, image, money, materialism, and if that's what they love in the Two of Cups, they want to get in relationships with other people, either who they think would be willing to move forward with them in a relationship, stay in a relationship with them, maybe more because they're inspired by the ego, the image, the stability, the security. And a shadowy person who is more driven by their ego sometimes will try to get in relationships with people in Cancer, Pisces energy who are more loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging and authentic, because then there's only one shadowy person in the relationship, and that's the shadowy person. And it makes them look victorious and successful if they get a loving, nurturing, supportive, warm person to get in a relationship with them. The Hierophant can kind of be, look how victorious and successful we are. Look how stable and grounded and abundant we are. And I must be that type of person too, because I got in a relationship with someone like that. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it's a mismatched relationship. And it can take time for the more loving people who put in a lot of work and effort to make a relationship work and work cooperatively with people, being loving and encouraging and supportive, to realize that they're in a relationship with someone who harnesses more shadowy Leo, Pisces, Cancer, Taurus energy than them. Because we can all get caught up in the illusion of a new friend, a new relationship, a new job, and we want it to work out. So we put in this work and effort to make it work out. And then eventually we kind of find out that the other person might be in it more to indulge themselves in it. It is good for their ego and their image. They're in a relationship with someone, but it's not really love that drives them. It can be their fear, their insecurity, their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego. And it can take time for people to see the truth of some of the people in their life. Then we have the Page of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. And the reason that came out is because of the Magician. As the high vibe people keep putting in work and effort, the Page is putting in work and effort, having that hopeful, believing spirit, being a student of life. The Eight of Wands is about trying to move something forward, to bring this dream into reality. At the end here, we have the Wheel of Fortune. We got into something. High vibe people are trying to move it forward, to make things go in their favor, to bring this dream into reality. And again, they're invested in it. They're inspired by it. They want to manifest it. And so long as the people in their life are on that same page, the Wheel of Fate does go in their favor, and then they go on these new journeys in the Fool card. And underneath that, we have the Moon card, kind of like facing our fears. If we're in relationships with other people that are kind of on the same page as us, have hope and faith and belief and love, willing to put in work and effort, move forward in life, face your fears, step into unknown territory, the relationship works out. But if we're in a relationship with someone, or someone in the group is a little bit more about themselves, maybe a little fixed, stubborn, unbudging, more about the ego and the image or something, as the relationship is moving forward, they want it to keep moving forward the way it was, where they don't have to really take a leap of faith to listen to like love and intuition to guide them. They don't really want to step into unknown territory. They have a way of viewing life and living life, and they want to keep repeating that pattern over and over. And they'll try to move forward in a more mismatched relationship. But if one person's more motivated by truth and love and being authentic and facing their fears and continuing to learn lessons in life, and the other person's like, well, no, I don't, that's not my truth. I liked being in the relationship with you. I want to keep moving forward with you in the relationship. But I still just want to create this illusion that I'm motivated and inspired by the same things you are, and that I'm willing to really learn lessons in life. The truth sets us free to keep moving forward in life, learning lessons. Some people have a problem with learning lessons. There's some truth that they might not want to deal with. It could be more shadowy energy is I do try to create this illusion about who I am and what drives and motivates me. I might have fears and insecurities. I might be prideful. I might be egotistical. I might be materialistic. I might be immature. You can move forward in a relationship with people for a long time because there's so many things you kind of need to negotiate and see if you're kind of on the same page with. When a relationship might end is when it really gets to the core foundation of what motivates people at a core foundational level. Truth, love, hope, faith, belief, being more independent, or more the fear or the ego or defensiveness, things like that. And when someone communicates with the people they're in a relationship with, say the high vibe people, I'm kind of ready to move forward in life differently. I think we've learned everything we needed to learn here. It's now time for this relationship to go to the next level. Just maybe a more deep, meaningful relationship. Maybe more inspired to be free of some things that could have kind of manipulated us. This can be a little bit more caught up in the world. These things that we want to manifest in the world, now that we've done that, now being inspired to wanting everybody to maybe work through some of their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs so this relationship can go to the next level. And when some people do that, some people could have some fear, is what the moon can talk about. Well, that requires me to go into unknown territory where I haven't been before. I would have to let kind of love and intuition guide me and have some more hope and faith and belief in myself that I can step out of my comfort zone to do that and be successful at that. And that's when some people kind of invest instead in kind of taking and investing in some more immature action. And it can be to try to stop the people that they're in a relationship with, to get them to focus back on them. I don't want you in the Two of Cups to keep aligning with your more hopeful, believing, inspired, loving nature, because then you want me to do that. So instead, I might take some kind of immature action to try to instill some fear or some insecurity in you to get you to come back and focus on me. And then let's keep moving forward, kind of making it a little bit more about me, how I want to do the relationship, what kind of drives and motivates me, because I don't want to maybe deal with the truth of what really drives and motivates me, which can be ego, image, money, materialism, myself. And I might have fear about taking a leap of faith, which is what the Fool card talks about, of just going with the flow, which is what the Wheel of Fortune talks about. We're either letting love and intuition guide us and we're kind of going with the flow, learning lessons as we go, or in our more shadowy nature, which the Seven of Wands, in our Leo egoic nature, I'm defensive of going into unknown territory. And I do kind of try to manipulate and control people to keep moving forward with me in a relationship where I don't have to deal with those things that stop me from moving forward in life differently. The moon can talk about these things buried beneath the surface, or things we like to not illuminate and deal with. I have fear, I have insecurities, I'm prideful, I'm eager. I like to do life like this. I want you to do life like this. And so it can kind of be like being in a relationship where you keep coming back and loving and encouraging people to love and believe in themselves. And, we keep thinking we're at that point where we are going to go into like unknown territory. We're going to let love and intuition guide us. But then the other person keeps doing something to get us back to focusing on them or being more caught up in the things of the world or the ego or the image or the indulgence. And it's like, I don't like investing in my more immature worldly nature because I'm not kind of growing to my full potential. And as a whole, we're not kind of growing to our full potential. And you're not growing to your full potential. Why are we not being willing to move forward, taking the lessons that we've learned from this life experience and believing that we can go on this journey together? And you might know some people that keep kind of giving in to either their more immature nature, indulgent nature, being in relationships with people who keep kind of pulling them back into living their life a certain way instead of listening more to their intuition, being more bold and brave and confident within themselves. And then we just have to see the truth of that. If we know everybody has all these different people in their life, and we're either aligning with the people in our life who encourage us to love and believe in ourselves, to be more bold and brave and confident, be a student of life. But we can also have people in our life that are like, well, why would you go do that? You shouldn't do that. You should hang out with us, and you should date me, and you should stay in a relationship with me, and you should keep working here. Well, just like we have these different people in our life, so do the people that we're in a relationship with. And if we keep seeing, as we keep trying to move something forward, letting love and intuition guide us, facing our fears, facing our insecurities, and we have some people in our life that keep being kind of manipulated, either by things within themselves or other people in their life, eventually, we've kind of got to deal with the truth of the situation, that they may never want to step out of their comfort zone. They may never be willing to take a leap of faith. They might not really be a student of life. They might be more inspired by the world and aligned with the world and making their life about themselves or the world. And if those are the people they kind of keep more deferring to and aligning with, that's our truth. And then if we see, well, that's not my truth, and I really want to move forward, but you keep wanting to repeat aligning with these other things or people and living life the way you've lived it. And even though I could love you, I feel like part of the reason I would maybe stay in it is because of my own fear of loving and believing in myself to go pursue those things that I feel are more aligned with my truth. And then we have people in our life who have things that manipulate them and people in their life or the world. And we kind of get sucked up in it too, and it keeps us from moving forward, maybe growing and healing and maturing ourselves and growing to our full potential. And eventually we might realize that, kind of the people that we've been working with really operate from a different foundation of what drives and motivates them. And I've kind of already found out my truth that I want to move forward. Let's see what's after the moon. The Ace of Pentacles. It's having a new beginning. How long do we live our life repeating a certain pattern over and over and over? And I'm kind of ready to take what we've learned, take the good things with, leave some of the things that we found aren't that great, and we go have this new beginning. And some people are like, I have a lot of fear about having a new beginning. You mean I'd have to do things differently? I'd have to let go of some things? And if they haven't found a problem with living life at that phase of life, they're okay. But you could have found a problem continuing to do something over and over, or a way of living life and viewing life, and your intuition is calling you to have a new beginning, and that part of the reason why you'd keep in a certain job or friendship is maybe more out of fear of having that new beginning, and that could bother you more than it can bother some other people. They might have fear of having a new beginning, but it doesn't bother them as much. It's like, okay, well, then I'll just keep doing this. And other people are like, well, I don't like how that manipulates me. I don't like my fear manipulating me. And I don't like the world or my ego or other people in my life manipulating me. And so that's when some people are like, you do you, I'm going to do me. If you want to keep doing this, you keep doing that, but I'm going to move forward in life differently. And it doesn't mean I'm going to go on the right adventure, but I know I maybe don't want to keep doing this because I might feel it's kind of me indulging in my more codependent nature, or indulging in my more immature ways of being, and I don't want to do that. And I don't like feeling like my fear manipulates me. So I am going to invest in listening to my intuition, and I'm going to work through and take this inspired action to work through my own inner conflict about listening to my truth and my intuition and standing up kind of for what I believe in and aligning with my more hopeful, believing nature. And I am willing to be a student of life. And what I go pursue might not work out, but I'm going to learn lessons along the way because I know I don't like doing what I've been doing. And maybe I feel like people aren't working together with me cooperatively. I might feel like people are using the love that I have for them to try to manipulate me. Or I could feel like I was moving forward with people. I thought we were on the same page. But then maybe I kind of start to see that they're maybe more manipulative than I realized, or more stubborn than I realized, or more rigid and inflexible than I realized. And when I decide to face my fears, to have this new beginning, and I do detach from some people in my life that I'm no longer working together with, I might communicate with some other people in my world who I think are kind of more on the same page as me. And if those people are on the same page as me, those are the people I'm going to move forward with. And we're all willing to go on this journey of detaching from some old ways of living life, viewing life, hopefully, growing and maturing ourselves, that we've learned some life lessons. And we're all ready to kind of move forward, to step out of our comfort zone, to just kind of go to that next phase of life. And some other people aren't. So they're going to go try find people who they think are more on the same page as them, might have some of the same fears or insecurities as them, might be maybe more codependent, might be more immature, might be more ego or materialistically driven, or just want to be in a relationship to be in a relationship, and they'll try to find people who are more on the same page as them. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Pisces energy, who are listening to their intuition to guide them, who have taken work to deal with their inner conflict and incorporate what they've learned into their decision making, and more aligned with their hopeful, believing, loving nature? What's coming up for those people that they might not see coming? The Queen of Swords, the Tower, the Strength card, and the Seven of Swords. And the reason that came out is because of the Emperor. So the Emperor is cardinal energy, ready to start something new, making good decisions in their life, wanting to be in relationships with other people who make good decisions. And they could have felt emotionally betrayed, or they just looked at life from a higher perspective, and it's like there's more to life than what I've kind of been making my life about, or getting so caught up in the things of the world. And then the Tower talks about seeing the truth of our foundation, of what drives and motivates us, seeing the truth of, at a core foundational level, what drives and motivates some other people. So you could have realized with some people in your Pisces, Aries, and Aquarius energy, if you are making good decisions, had hope and faith and belief in a dream, and you are trying to keep things in perspective, make good decisions in your life, be loving and encouraging, you could have felt like some other people liked to be indulged in a relationship, or they were more about themselves, or they're more driven by the ego and the image. And you just see the truth that you operate from different foundations with some of the people in your life. And you don't want to keep just being strong and kind of being deceived and manipulated. At a core foundational level, what drives and motivates us is different. So if I had been being strong because I kind of hadn't wanted to see the truth, I'm done with that. Because things will keep happening over and over and over to try to get us to see the truth that this isn't working out the way you thought it was going to work out. And that's the Tower, like boom, boom, boom. You are not operating from the same foundation. And so then high vibe people temper their own ego. But I wanted what I wanted. God is like, well, you can want what you want all day, but these people got free will. And if that's not what they're driven and motivated by, maybe they were deceptive and manipulative. Maybe they are more prideful and egotistical. Maybe they are more emotionally defensive or bossy or controlling than you realized. But you have to deal with the truth of the situation. Or if they're more immature, codependent, manipulative, unstable, but they want to keep moving forward with you in a relationship, Well, do you want to keep bringing them with you if they still haven't learned and done some work on their own foundation of self that could still make them kind of harsh or critical or cold or defensive or immature? That's your free will choice, but generally some high vibe people want to be in relationships with other people who've kind of tempered their ego and their more immature nature or manipulative nature, immature nature. And then they temper their own ego about moving away from them. It's like, well, you do you. I was loving and encouraging and supportive, but if that's not your truth and you have fear of maybe detaching from some things or some people or your defensive nature or your bossy nature or your immature nature or liking to manipulate people in a relationship, you're going to have to go find someone else to be in a relationship with, because I'm moving on. And then as you move on, it's trying to find the people in the world that you think are more on the same page as you, letting love and intuition guide you and the decisions you make instead of fear or insecurity or lust or greed or codependency. And as you do that and you listen to your intuition, I think you're going to have those new beginnings in the Ace of Pentacles, because life is about learning lessons. And if we're willing to listen to our intuition, temper our ego, temper our fears, temper, all these things, then we listen to our intuition and then we're kind of rewarded with a new beginning because we did learn the lesson we were meant to learn from that life experience. So now we're ready for the next life experience to learn lessons. And while some people are detaching from an old way of viewing life, living life, detaching from one or more different people in their life, some of those, just like you can be upset, the Queen of Swords can be about feeling betrayed. Other people in your life could feel betrayed by you. I didn't think you'd listen to your intuition. I didn't think you'd not make your life more about these things or keep indulging your more immature nature or codependent nature. They do, and then they're mad that you kind of work through those things to be more independent of it, and they're still manipulated by it. And then if you're more independent, bold, brave, confident, balanced, tempered or something than them, and they're mad at you, what some people don't see is that some of the people they were in relationships with might try to do things to try to tear you down so that other people don't view you as a more loving, authentic, bold, brave, confident, or whatever, authentic person, Because if they like to view themselves as a certain type of person in the world, shadowy energy can be where people are kind of competitive, and in their ego. And if you're moving forward in a way that they're not willing to move forward and become more independent, or you're not willing to indulge them anymore, they might really try to tear you down, which could be surprising. But that just kind of reveals more the truth to you of who they really were. And you still temper your fears and your insecurities and look at life from a higher perspective, and you believe that the divine has a plan for your life, and you're going to listen to love and intuition to guide you. And you're going to have these new beginnings as you're moving forward in that energy. There's going to be some people that feel betrayed by you because they wanted to be in friendships or relationships with you, but you're not willing to repeat that old pattern of a relationship that can just be more ego-based, codependent-based, immature-based. I want to be in relationships with people who have learned some more lessons in life, who've looked at life from a higher perspective, who've tempered their ego, and want to move forward with me in that way. And I think as you're doing that, there's other people that'll be like, I see the truth, that is the truth of who they are. While some people feel betrayed by you, other people are going to come in and defend you because they see that you are who you say you are. And that you're not trying to manipulate people. You're not trying to confuse people about the truth. You're not trying to tempt people in their lust or their greed or their pride or their ego to be in a relationship with you. And other people could be mad that other people are moving forward with you in that way because they were maybe trying to tempt people in their lust and their greed and their pride and their ego to get them to stay in friendships or workplaces or relationships with them, and then they're mad at you because you are actually in high vibe Leo. You are authentic, you are warm, you are loving, you are encouraging, you walk the talk, you're inspired by truth and love, and other people communicate that they want to move forward with you. And some people in the world who might have a lot of status or image, or at least they think they do, or social clout or money, some of those people don't understand because they don't get it. Why do people leave me or being friends with me or working for me in this company to go get in friendships or relationships or work for other people in companies? It's like, because the high vibe people inspire other people to love and believe in themselves. They're encouraging and they're supportive. And it's authentic. It helps everyone move forward in life and overcome their fears and their self-limiting beliefs. And the other people are like, well, I want you to stay here. And I think if I use my emotions manipulatively and my sexuality manipulatively and my looks and my money and my social clout, you should want these things of the world. This is what I want. This is what I think is important. Well, the people who are motivated and inspired by that will probably stay or if they're intimidated or controlled or have fear and insecurity, they'll stay in those jobs, friendships, and relationships. But other people who are more motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness and character and integrity and authenticity aren't going to stay there. And some of the shadowy people just don't get it because they haven't been illuminated to the truth that it's love. And they can't tell the difference, because say you saw two different people, even if they were twins practically, you look at so many things about their life, they almost seem like they have all these same traits, characteristics, assets, looks, money, social clout, whatever. The difference is one is more emotionally mature, more self-disciplined, loving. The other person might look like they have everything that person has, but they could just be more immature, prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, self-centered, manipulative. And the shadowy people just don't get the difference because they just don't understand it because they they're not willing to do love. They probably can't understand why other people do love. You take a risk of being hurt at a core foundational level if you do love. So they don't, but other people do. They're willing, that's what the fool, I'm willing to take a leap of faith. To have some hope and faith and belief and love. And the shadowy people aren't willing to do that. And the high vibe people aren't willing to stay in situations just because of the ego or the image. They might want to, and it really can cause them a lot of struggle because we all want those things. But the high vibe people are willing to let those things go because they know it's not a safe, stable, supportive, encouraging, loving foundation. It might have all the other things, but if it doesn't have love, it's like hollow. And they're not willing to give up their dreams for those things. But other people are. So what's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Pisces energy that they might not see coming up? The Devil. Why? Because of the Knight of Cups. I view the Knight of Cups as Pisces energy. They keep emotionally investing in not love. That isn't what drives and motivates them. And If they keep acting like this, there could be people in their life that the devil can be about. It challenges you to face your fears and your insecurities. It's kind of like the opposite of what you're aligned with. So when someone who's more worldly focused gets in a relationship with a more loving, authentic, just, fair, balanced person, it's kind of like the loving person is like the devil to these people because they challenge their belief system. And it challenges them to face their fears and insecurities. And some of these people have been in relationships with people who challenge them to have more hope and faith and belief in themselves and in love. And it causes them all this inner conflict because I don't want to go there. I could get hurt. No, I want to just indulge myself in the relationship. You should let me indulge myself in the relationship. You shouldn't require me to have that more hopeful, believing, creative, inspired nature. Just let me keep moving forward with you. You be a fool for love, and I'll create the illusion I am too. And the high vibe people are like, I'm leaving. If you, whatever it is that manipulates you, that keeps you from being willing to do love, we've all got to work through those things. If you're immature, if you're prideful, if you're materialistic, if you're egotistical, if you're bossy, if you're controlling, more motivated by money and materialism, indulgence, or ego, or being indulged, they're always going to have some high vibe people in their life that are going to detach from them. And some of those people could be doing it right now. And if they keep acting like this, the people who probably are going to stay in a relationship with them are people who are motivated and inspired by the same things they are, or at the same emotional maturity level or self-indulgent level, who also want to invest and make their life about those things. But they just both might be people. In high vibe, the emperor is that you've learned all these lessons in life. And some of these people haven't learned those lessons and they don't look at life from a higher perspective. And it is more about indulging themselves or indulging themselves in these things of the world. And if I have these things of the world, people should want to love me. It's kind of like the devil's upset when high vibe people love and believe in themselves. When you won't let other people who've put in maybe work and effort to look victorious and successful in the world trap you in a relationship with them because you love them or because you're tempted in those worldly things that we want. And when you love and believe in yourself and temper your more worldly, prideful nature, and you move on from these people not being deceived and manipulated to settle for just these things more of the world, the devil's mad because then the devil's got to go find someone else to manipulate. Their philosophy of life could be to turn their back on love. I'll be in relationships with people. I'll move forward in relationships with people. I'll maybe put in some work and effort to try to make things move forward. But I want to keep maintaining this illusion or hiding my more authentic, hopeful, believing, loving nature underneath the surface. My more worldly, egoic, or defensive, or immature nature is running my life. But so long as the people I'm in a relationship with don't know it, then I get to keep indulging myself in the relationship for as long as it lasts. If those people ever see through the illusion, well, then I guess I'm going to have to go find someone else to get in a relationship with because they found out I'm not really motivated and inspired by love. It's lust or greed or pride or ego or self-indulgence. So shadowy people right now are listening to their intuition about who they think they can confuse about the truth of who they are. They want to move forward in a relationship wanting to look like they've moved on, they've had a new beginning just like other people. The only difference is other people had new beginnings and they really have healed, grown, matured themselves. They're not the same person in the new job and friendships and relationships they get into that they were in some of these prior jobs, friendships, and relationships. But the other people are the same type of person they were. They still never took inspired action in their philosophy of life to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. They're still motivated and inspired by the same philosophy of how they view themselves and the world and relationships that they had before. They're just hoping with the next person who doesn't know the truth about them that this time it'll work. It's like the devil repeating things over and over and over, never willing to get out of their ego to realize it's supposed to be about love or loving themselves, getting out of more codependent energy, being immature, trying to manipulate and control people to get them to do what they want. And they keep just trying to find somebody who that will work out with. And everybody's got lessons to learn from people like this in the world. Loving people think, oh, if I get in a relationship with someone and I'm loving and nurturing and supportive, of course people would choose love. Like, loving people can't even understand people who wouldn't choose love. But you have to understand, in a world of duality, everybody in their free will can choose, no, I'm more about me or my fear of being hurt, so I operate from my more defensive nature, or I think if I have these things of the world, there's other people that will indulge me in my more shadowy ways of being that won't require me to heal or grow or mature myself. And if they can find someone who's willing to keep doing that, just like some other people were willing for a while to do that, having hope and faith and belief and love, if they get in relationships with more high vibe people, more who listen to their intuition and love to guide them, more people, if they keep trying to manipulate people, the high vibe people leave their life. The people who might stay might be people who are more motivated by the ego and the image or the money or the codependency themselves. Until they realize this is toxic, I need to overcome my own fears and insecurities to get out of this. I mean, why would we stay in more superficial, shallow relationships or more hurtful or unkind relationships? Probably if we don't love and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams, that we can manifest our dreams into reality. But any day you're not in a relationship with someone who's trying to manipulate you, control you, be hurtful or unkind or immature or abusive, is a day to be happy. And that's what some high vibe people have realized. And they're going on this new journey and having these new beginnings. The other people are just going to create the illusion they've changed, that they've moved on, but they're the same person in the new job, friendship, or relationship as they were in the last one. And some of those people, because of their ego and their status or their image and kind of being full of themselves, they're shocked that some people are leaving them. And they could think, you're the fool. I have these things. You should stay in a relationship with me. And some people are like, I've already found out. People are either creating a little hell on earth or people are creating a little heaven on earth. And I have found out you create a little hell on earth. And in a world of duality, that means high vibe people are creating a little heaven on earth. And I am willing to speak my truth, to let go of being in relationships where my own, or living my life where my more shadowy, fearful nature is running my life, or my more codependent nature, because then I get in relationships with people who are happy I'm in that energy. And I did the work to figure out why I would be tempted to stay in it. I tempered my ego and my fears to listen to love and intuition to guide me. And I detach from that within myself, and then I detach from those people. And I'm moving forward, having a new beginning, and these people can go create their illusion with someone else, because that's not my truth. And you're going to look like a boss in the world, a very stable, grounded, inspiring, tempered, loving person. The other person might look like someone who has all those things of the world, but people might view them as someone who takes kind of foolish, immature risks in their life that is more about indulging themselves in the world, or more driven and motivated by these things of the world. And eventually people see the truth of kind of who's who. And I think people are going to see the high vibe people as a boss, and some of the people who tried to create the illusion they were that type of person, people see the truth of what drives and motivates them. And some of those people are going to move on from them, because you're not who I thought you were either. So there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.